Hello, welcome to Stone Snow Day Live. Once again with Misty Cortez. We're going to be going over, I think it's no-cost marketing hacks and how to grow your business without spending a dime. And what I like the most about that, and what we say over here at Coach Marketing Mastery is we want to grow our business with the least amount of investment. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that title means to you and maybe how you started? Because I don't know how much you spend a month, but I'm going on $1,000 a month, for marketing tools. It's kind of frustrating because I don't use them all.
Yeah, well, that doesn't include ad spend, of course.
Right. So that's
But
the tools.
yeah, that's just the tools. So when I hear low cost marketing, I think of both time and money, right? Because we can always make more money. That's the blessing of being an entrepreneur. But as far as time, that's another story, right? We can't always we can't get more time.
Right.
So that's the first thing that comes to mind is that. But do you want me to go into some tips or?
Yeah, we'll just go.
Okay. So the very
Oh,
first
let's
thing.
start up
Yeah.
on how you started, because I'll talk a little bit about myself. Is that I started out with this software that was free. It was automation software. It's called Green Rope now,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was in beta. So I still have it. I spend $10 a month on it, and I never use it. But once in a while, I'll let my friend, someone I know, like my sister, used it for a while with her business for like 4 or 5 years. But and then I got Infusionsoft, which is a couple $100 a month, and so you probably have that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
And so you probably have a grandfathered in package, right?
Oh, I have. So I started with Keep. Oh, gosh, 2013, October of 2013. So it's been
Yeah,
11 years now. But yeah, I'm still a partner, so you get partner benefits as well.
yeah. So I have like 30,000 contacts for,
Yes.
a couple $100 a month, which now would be like a couple thousand a month. You get
Yes.
1,500 for $250, right?
Yeah, 5,000 actually. If they purchase from their application from a partner, they get 5,000 contacts and 3 users. So they get a little extra bonus if they go through a partner rather than Keep direct.
Well, I'm a partner and I should know that.
Well, and actually, can I do a plug already? I mean, this is
Yeah,
a little
go for it.
early,
Go for
but
it.
Keep has their Keep Grow Summit coming up here in November, and I actually have I'm a brand advocate for Keep. I love Keep. We use it in our business every day. We service clients, all that stuff, same as you, Sean. And but they gave me a coupon code where you can get a general admission ticket to Keep for $149. Those tickets right now are retailing at $699. So you get full access to the keynote and the track sessions. You get event recordings. You get swag. You get a welcome reception on November 20th and brunch or breakfast and lunch on November 21st and 22nd. So when you go to sign up, can we give them a link?
Yeah, I don't know if we can put a link, but
I'll put it in the chat or I'll put it in the comments after. But if they just put in the promo code, my first and last name, Misty Cordes, they can get the ticket for $149.
is it capital or is it all just one word?
I think it's just all one word. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's just a phenomenal deal. I want to pass it on because it's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but going back to your original question, like how did I get started? So, funnily enough, I moved to Arizona back in 2010. My family, I'm originally from Michigan, and we drove all the way across country, like over 2,000 miles, to basically start over. And I had 4 kids. Well, I had 4 kids, and we had a dog named Jude at the time. And it was in the worst economic time of our lifetime. And I personally was working in the field of finance at the time. I wasn't even in marketing. My formal education is in marketing, but I've always used my marketing degree for businesses that I've owned throughout the years. And so here I'm an A-type personality, kind of, I think like you, where, we kind of like take action first and then figure out how to clean up our mess after.
Yeah.
Usually my husband's does a really good job of doing that for me.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of what happened. I moved all the way across country. When I say we had no money, we were sleeping on air mattresses for a year. We had the only furniture we had in our 3-bedroom apartment was a TV that sat on the floor in the living room because we couldn't afford anything. So when you talk about no cost startups, right? And it was right about the time like Facebook was really starting to take off. And I was seeing all these businesses like really floundering when it came to how they were leveraging it, because they were taking old school tactics of billboards, radio, TV, where it was push marketing. And they were trying to do those tactics on a social network. And I was like, that is not what this is for. Right. And so I started having talks about it. And one thing led to another. And I ended up switching careers completely, like switching careers from finance over into marketing. I started a meetup group. Remember when meetups were really popular?
Oh, and they were awesome.
Yeah, I love those. And I started a meetup group and I called it Marketing 101 for small business owners. So this was before I started the marketing business. I set up this group because I thought to myself, I don't have any money. I need to market my finance business. What I want to do is I want to go after small business owners so I can go help their employees with their finances, right? So to me, it was like a perfect marketing strategy. And what I found was within 6 months of starting this group up, we went from like a trickle in of a handful of businesses to over 600 members. At the time, I had an office, and we had so many business owners showing up for this meeting that I would do on Friday mornings. The guy who owned the office building actually he said he was going to call the fire marshal on us if we had one more person walk into the building. I was like, yeah, this probably isn't a good idea. So I ended up taking it online.
So you did all of that without offering any alcohol?
And no alcohol. No, heck, we live in Arizona. It's too dang hot for that.
Yeah.
But yes, no. So we're packed in there like sardines, and all I'm basically teaching them. And I really, at the time, I mean, I understood marketing, the principles and tactics of marketing, but the platforms, the social platforms, were really changing the game. And the one thing that I knew how to do was how to leverage those platforms in a way that was completely different than what most people were taught marketing used to be back in the day, which, like I said, it was more of a push tactic. So my first strategy, and I had no intention on starting a marketing business at the time, by the way. That was just my marketing strategy for my finance business. And so what happened is every single week that I was teaching these topics, someone, a couple of people would come up to me and say, Misty, I love what you teach. Will you help me with my marketing? Right. And I was like, no, that I do this so that I can meet business owners so I can help your employees.
Yeah, like a true entrepreneur. Hey, can I get some money? No, I don't want.
I know. It was terrible. And meanwhile, by the way, I was miserable in the finance industry. Miserable. But I thought with the move, it would like respark my energy and whatever. So that was my first strategy, is just leveraging Meetup to meet with people, teach them what I knew. And by the way, it wasn't much more than what they knew, right? Because social media was new to all of us back in the day. Not way back then, And so that was my first marketing strategy, was set up the free Meetup group.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, it was about 6 months later, I decided that maybe there is something to this marketing thing. And so I started marketing coaching, and I had within just a few months, I had 59 one-on-one coaching clients that I was teaching how to market. And I was giving them all the strategies in that.
My story real quick with and this is actually how I got started. And it was also with Meetup. Is I was reading the book Think and Grow Rich in a park by myself, and there's an action guide, and no one knew there was an action guide. So I had a job at the time, developing leads for a recruiting agency. So I was the one bringing all the leads in. So then my boss asked me, what do you do at lunch? And I go to the park and I read Think and Grow Rich. And he goes, I've read that book. It's a really good book. And I go, it's not something you read, it's something you do. And he goes, what are you talking about? I go, well, there's an action guide. He goes, really? And I go, yeah. So the next Wednesday he comes up, and it's just he and I sitting at a park bench going over the action guide. And then he goes, I want to bring my team up here. And he had been working at this company for 10 years. Oh, wow. So he comes up, and these are actually free marketing tools. This is in line with what we're saying. Read the book, Think and Grow Rich. As dumb as that seems, because everybody says it, read it anyhow, right?
Yeah.
So then he brought his whole team up, and literally within 2 months, he had the best month he's ever had in 10 years.
Wow.
just by coming up to the park and going over this action guide with me and having his team go through it. So then I too made a meetup, and then next thing you know, I have people driving, 20 minutes to half an hour to the park every Wednesday. Now,
Nice.
I didn't know it was a mixer, but I would talk and everyone would listen to me. And this is what I learned from this. No one wants to read a book. So I
Mm.
would tell everyone, read chapter 3, come back next week. I would read chapter 3, and then I would talk about what I read, and everybody would be taking notes. And I'm like, well, did anybody read it? Oh, no, but you're great. And they just, so I was like, okay. And then there's a thing called, I don't know if you remember Free Conference Pro.
Yes.
So there was go to webinar, which was like $75 a month.
Uh,
Infusionsoft was $75 a month. I'm like, I can't afford that. That's super expensive. And so I did Free Conference Pro, and everybody just started calling in. And then I started getting coaching clients
I love it.
through that, and I was doing it remote because Zoom didn't even exist back then. I don't think.
I think that brings up a really good point because I think, in today's world, we have there's so many people, regardless of the space you work in, like we all have competition. We all have people who work, do what we do.
Yeah.
And it's easy to compare our beginning to their middle or end of their journey. You know what I mean? And, I think it's easy for new entrepreneurs. I'm speaking to new entrepreneurs right now to kind of compare yourself to where they're at and what they're doing. And the thing is like most of them, probably I would say all of them, but that's pretty, I don't know all their stories, but most of them have started bootstrapping, right? Like just like we just talked about, you met in a park. I started a meetup group because I wanted to sell life insurance and investments to business owners and their employees. And I didn't know that the evolution would turn into a business. But when I officially started my business, I started it with a $30 a $20 Staples coupon and a 30-day Wix trial. Wix is a website builder. I didn't know how to build websites, and I just threw up a web page really quick, and I called it Misty Cordish, your marketing coach, because I couldn't think of anything more clever than that. You know what I mean? Like we all bootstrapped our way to in our startup, and it's okay to do that even today, even with all of the people who seem to have all their stuff together. It's okay to start and bootstrap your way because sometimes that's the best way to, I think, the best.
Do you know how Automated Marketing Summit started? So I have this software called AirMeet, and it's like this really huge conference software that like Motorola and Sony, they're going to use this for their events, and it's online.
Nice.
And I bought it on AppSumo, so it was like, but now it's like 20 grand a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I have 2 apps. But anyhow, so I bought this and I was like, well, I wonder how this works. Well, I want to test it, so I just invited all my friends to like, hey, so I bought Automated Marketing Summit. Well, I own like 100 domains, so I'm like, oh, we'll just
right.
So we used that one, and then me and Paul Sokol. And what I found so the last one was not as successful as I would have liked, but there's a few things, and one of them I think was just saying AI, like doing an AI event. There's so many of them out there that now it's just white noise. But anyhow, we started that, and what we're doing now is we're going to do SaaS. So it's if anyone's listening and they have a SaaS like Plus This or Memberium or anything that integrates with Keep or Go High Level, then that's what my people, the super nerds, they want to know that. But again, it just started as I was like, hey, I wonder what would happen if I need people to test this software, so I'm just going to invite my friends. And 45 people showed up.
Nice. Yeah, and I tend to be the person who likes to leverage people's skills, talents, and abilities, right? Their experience, their expertise, and I teach them how to package it in a business model.
So let's get back to the topic.
Yeah, well, so all right. So tip number 1, I would give someone if I was like, if you're starting today, number 1, don't compare yourself to everyone else. But number 2, I would say the sooner that you can create partnership with businesses who serve your target audience, the better you will be. I call it strategic power partnerships, meaning you want to be strategic in who you're working with to bring value to their audience, and in turn, they're introducing you to the market that you want to serve. So one of the best decisions I ever made was partnering with Keep very early on in my business. And I didn't realize it. When I initially purchased the software, I purchased it because I needed it in my business, right? I wanted to automate my appointment scheduling. That was my focus. I had 59 clients that I had to email every month. And then it was back and forth, trying to get them on my calendar. It was a freaking nightmare because once someone would lock something in, I already told someone else it was available. And then by the time they got back to me, it wasn't available. Then I had to email them back. It was just a mess.
Yeah.
And so I started using the software, and then very quickly I started realizing there's ways that I could bring value to their community. And I offered that up, and I said, hey, I have this training that I do that business owners really like. I'd be willing to come in and talk to your people and share it with them if you'd like me to. And they're like, yeah, please do, And so that partnership kind of escalated. And then what eventually ended up happening is my team and I became a preferred servicing partner of Keep. So what that basically means is when they sell the software, when they send some of their clients over to my coaching team so we can teach them how to use it. And that strategic power partnership really, it's responsible for generating multi-millions of dollars in my business.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's what I would encourage, if you're in business right now and you're like, man, I don't have a ton of money. I can't go run ads. I don't, I'm just looking for a way I can quickly grow. Find someone in your space that you can come to the table and say, hey, I've got something I'd like to offer, and come up with a partnership where both of you benefit. I'm going to give you a really weird example of this because I actually used this strategy very early on when I started my coaching business, like with all of my clients. That was my number one goal, is get them a strategic power partnership day one that I was working with them. One of the clients that I worked with was a painter. He painted houses here in Arizona, right? The outside of houses. He wasn't doing inside at the time. Right. And he's like, I need ways that I can get in front of more clients. Well, I just so happened to have another client who cleaned windows for residential homes in the area. And so what I did is I connected the two of them, and I said, hey, you paint houses. So every single time you paint a house, add in there as an extra added value, a free, right? It's built into the initial cost. I'm going to paint your house, but I also am going to clean your windows, because who wants a newly painted house without clean windows? It's like buying a car that's dirty. Like nobody's driving off the lot being proud of that, right? You know what I mean? So I said, every time that you paint a house, have it right in there that you're going to just, as an extra added bonus, you're going to have the window cleaner guy come out and clean the windows. But here's the thing, that guy's going to do the first one for free. But while he's on site with the homeowner, he's of course going to present them with an opportunity. Would you like me to come and sell his packages? And then in the reverse, because the window cleaner guy is of course cleaning all the windows of all these houses of people who probably need their houses painted. And I said, every time you're in there, you're pitching the other guy. So it's like a perfect match where they could swap, markets. Instead of giving Zuckerberg more money on Facebook ads trying to pay to get in front of the same clients, they actually can cross promote each other pretty effortlessly. So that's another example of a strategic power partnership.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, Keep and it's okay. I'm going to say this because a lot of people are, there's a lot of competition and people are like, oh, this new product just came out, like when Active Campaign came out, like all these competitors. And we had 600 employees at one time before the pandemic. And people would say, why should I go with Infusionsoft, back when it was called Infusionsoft, rather than this other thing? And I'd go, okay, they have 25 employees. We have 600 employees. That's all I really need to say. And that would just shut them up.
Yeah.
Because they would go into all this stuff, like all the jokes and the name and this and that. And I was like, well, do you get phone support?
Yeah.
So it was the kind of partner as well. So that keeps just really okay. I don't want to
Yeah.
toot the horn too much about them, but I've just made but continue. What's this? So that was strategic power partnerships. What's the
Yeah.
next one?
I think the next one is you got to tap into your current community, like your current connections, right? So I had a gal that came to me last year. She had been, I don't know. I'm not good with ages. I still don't know what her actual age is. We'll just say that she's a mature woman, right? She's been
There you
in
go.
her industry for decades.
Seasoned.
Seasoned, mature woman, as I am. And it's funny because recently I've been making some changes in my own business. My husband, I'm turning 50 here this year, actually, just a little over a month out from turning 50. And our priorities in our life has changed. Our kids are older, they're grown, all that stuff, right? And so we want more. I've always wanted freedom, flexibility, and control, but I want it even more now today than ever. My husband and I are but like a couple of 20-year-olds running around every weekend, taking long weekends and doing that. And I want a business now. I've been running an agency for over a decade, serving clients at a high level, but it also required that I'd be sitting behind the desk for many hours a week. And now I want to shift that. I still want to serve people and I want to help entrepreneurs, but I want to do it in a different way that allows me to more freedom and flexibility and control. And that also made me go, okay, why don't I want that for other people? Like, why not help other people have the same, that have the same vision as I do, help them build businesses like that. So one of the gals that came to me, mature woman, been in her industry for several decades. And I said to her right away, I can guarantee your success. And Sean, like you don't say that kind of stuff in our industry. Like you're
Right.
not allowed to say that unless you want to get sued.
Yeah. What's his name? Books goes into that in depth.
Right, exactly. So you don't say that very lightly. But I said to her, I can guarantee your success. And she says, how? Because, she'd never been an entrepreneur. She'd always been an employee. And I said, because you have already done all the hard work. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, you have spent decades building communities, speaking at events, becoming an expert in your industry. You've just been doing it under someone else's name. Now we're going to start doing it under your name. I said, you're not starting over, because she kept saying, as I have said many times in my career, I said, you're not starting over. What you're doing is you're just changing lanes. Instead of being the employee, you're now the entrepreneur. So you're doing this under your own name. But you have all of these connections that you've made. I gave her a task when we started working together, and I said, what I want you to do is, I said, every single week I want you to make a list of 10 people or organizations that you can reach out to and ask them, let them know what you're up to, let them know that you've made a change in your career and that you're doing this on your own and that you'd like to talk to them about it. The very first time she sent out the emails, and they were very simple emails, just, hey, I don't know if you've heard, but I'm doing something new and I'd like to chat with you about it. She had one of her top 100. We always have a top 100 like wish list. I hope that I get a chance to talk at this organization. She had one of her top 100 already reach out to her and say, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you come in and talk to our people. Like, so what I'm saying is, going back to this bootstrapping, the number two, maybe even the number one strategy over strategic power partnerships, I think this is an extension of that, is go to your existing list of people that you have made connections with over the years and reach out to them, let them know that you're doing something, and see what you can drum up. I think that the reason why a lot of people don't do that is because they're afraid to hear the word no. Right? They don't want to hear the word no, and so they come up with some unrational reason why they can't reach out to all these connections. But that is your gold mine. Like, you're sitting literally on a gold mine doing that. Or
I think a lot of people are even more afraid, and I coach coaches. They're more afraid of hearing yes.
Yeah.
Like I
that too.
it's like, have you ever like made the offer and you just you kind of want to like, don't hit me, and then you know what surprises me is when I put a zero at the end. I remember the first time I made $5,000, and I said, yeah, and it's $5,000, and This is in 2004. And I had freaked out. That guy just went, okay. I was like, what?
You
Like,
can't get it if you don't ask.
yeah.
I used to tell my kids that. My son goes to prom and he's like, I don't have a date. And I said, so what? When you get there, start asking girls. He goes like, well, what if they say no? I said, then ask another one because there's probably another one standing right next to her.
Yeah. If you don't ASK, you don't GET.
That's
By the
it.
way, we have a QR code. I did test it, and it says Misty Cortez. That's how you spell the first and last name. So go ahead and hit that QR code. We'll see you in Arizona. This is what's it called? The Keep Growth Summit.
Yeah, the Growth Summit. Let's Grow Summit from Keep.
Let's Grow Summit. And these are great. Everyone there is a super nerd. It's our people. But especially if you're a business owner and if you're in the Arizona area, Missy and I will be there and you can come meet us. But you're also going to meet other people that are going to help you grow your business. Even if you're in New Mexico or California, if you're in California, just leave your politics there, but come out here. Yes, I said that.
Yeah, no. Well, and just so you know, if you're just now joining us, that QR code takes you to the Let's Grow Summit registration, which is happening in the month of November. We're not quite November yet. I keep fast forwarding.
Did you test that? Is that the right one?
I did not test it yet, no.
Okay.
But when you enter in, when you registering, make sure that you enter my name as, thank you, Sean, for putting that. You enter my name into the coupon code and you can get your tickets for $149. Right now they're retailing at $6.99. So it's a tremendous deal, like no brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah.
Okay.
So strategy number 2 is connect with your existing audience, and there's no excuses. Don't say, oh, there's a conflict. Oh, there's this. Oh, all the crap that you're trying to justify why you can't do it. It's fear. Just admit it's fear and just push through that. So there's my coaching on that one. I don't know. I could spend all day on that one.
No, that's good. Okay. So what's the third one?
I think this one's pretty obvious. Like social media, obviously, it's a free platform. The challenge with social media is we don't control the algorithm, right? So it's we don't get the exposure that we used to get for free, but you do get exposure, and so I would be leveraging that. Here's the funny thing: there's someone here listening, going, "Oh, that's what I'm going to do." They're going to avoid the first 2 things because they're afraid of getting rejected by people they know, and they're going to fast forward and go to the thing that puts them at arm's length from their prospects. The thing about social media marketing is it works, obviously, but it takes time. It's more of a long game than it is a short game. Not to say that you can't post today and get results. You certainly can, especially if you're posting on your personal page because you're reaching out to your immediate connections, like I said in point number 2. But a lot of folks, they try to hide behind their marketing to protect themselves from getting rejected. So I just want you to be aware of that. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just a realist and working with, over 5,000 entrepreneurs over the last decade. I already know what you're going to do. I can just tell you what you're going to do.
So I have a few questions about that. First of all, social media seems more like branding than generating traffic. It's kind of like, people will research you. I show people, if you Google my name and then go to images, you're going to see all these different things about me, and they all have to do with marketing or business investing. And it does generate a little bit of traffic, but also you're talking about the algorithm. Now, I'm a little bit of I run shenanigans, as a lot of people know, and I probably shouldn't say that. But one of the things is the drama. So when you do very dramatic things, people want to come and give their opinion. And so then there's the upside and the downside to that. The upside is a lot of people get involved. The downside is it makes you look like a troll to some people and a hero to others. So you could just think of the recent politics. Everything they're saying is so that the people that are in there that have that narrative are going to go, yes, you're right, and the people that have another narrative are going to go, yeah. So when it comes to social media, is there a way to get around that algorithm without being dramatic?
So first of all, I don't agree with everything that you quite said. And here's why. First of all, you can leverage social media to drive traffic. You
Yeah.
can also leverage social media to build brand awareness.
Right.
How you create your content is key. So if you're just pushing out content hoping someone's going to find their way to you, yeah, that's brand awareness. You know what I mean? You're pushing out content that doesn't have really intention behind it, but it's you just think, "Oh, this is really good, so I'm going to share it, and because it's good, people are going to naturally find me." That's not how that works. When you create content to drive traffic, there's an intention behind how that content is created and how you're sharing it. And I know we're not going to have time to go into that today. Maybe that would be a good topic for the future is really creating content to drive traffic and to convert people from your posts. The other thing you mentioned, obviously we're in a political environment right now, so you can't really ignore that. But you've probably heard the phrase, there's no good or bad publicity, it's just publicity.
Right.
And that's true. So when you post something that is a point of view, and here's the thing about life. I always use this as an example, and you can see I'm drinking, and this is not a promotion for Starbucks. I'll just cover the logo.
You can promote Starbucks.
I love iced coffee. That's my thing, right? But my husband loves Dunkin' and he loves hot coffee. That's his thing. And I used to tease him all the time because he knew I used this as a example in marketing. The thing is so we would go through and we would get a coffee and I'm like, this is terrible. Number one, they still are using foam. And I would just give him a hard time, right? About his coffee. But I'm like, because I'm right and you're wrong. Because that's how the world kind of views everything. It's like, I'm right, you're wrong. And that's not true. There are choices in this world for a reason. And that is because people have difference of opinions. And that is okay. The world needs that. Hear that loud and clear, right? So even though I'm right and iced coffee is better, I'm just kidding. Right. You know where I'm going with this, right? It doesn't make me, it's not right or wrong. It's not a matter of right or wrong. So here's the thing. When you're sharing your point of view, regardless of what it is, what topic it is, it does not matter what industry you work in, whatever, you're going to have people that oppose you. That does not make you look bad. That just makes, now if they come in and they're attacking you, that makes them look bad. Let them look bad. Do not play in that circus that they've created, right? So there is no such thing as good and bad publicity. It's just publicity. And the reason why I say that is because, Sean, if I share something on my Facebook page or Instagram or whatever, and it's a point of view that I have, and I just share that openly and honestly, and you jump into my thread, which I know you would never do, but I'm just saying, if you jumped into my thread and said something to me, when you post on that, now you're giving your audience an opportunity to actually see my content. Right. You're helping me promote it. Right. Just by putting that bad comment on there, you're helping me promote my point of view. So thank you very much. Feel free, haters, to come and point and share your point of view. Right. That's my thing. Because there is no good or bad publicity, just publicity.
That's a lot about this segment, because I started out saying social media doesn't drive traffic. I did that on purpose.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I did that. And then you said, well, I don't agree with everything you said. And so then, but the other thing is that with the social media and the algorithms, it's when they comment, they put you back to the top, or they blast. So we need those comments, that engagement. And I did something one time. I don't want to get into it but I'll say the David Bowie lyric. So you have to be a little older to know this lyric. But it says, and these children that you spit on as they try to change their world are immune to your conversation. They're quite aware of what they're going through. So what I was talking about are the millennials that are saying certain things, and all of us older people are going, and all I was saying is, look, the kids are quite aware of what they're going through.
Right.
Yeah. Well, but then I put a picture of a certain political young person up there, and boy, I had family members unfriending me, and I didn't even do anything. Like, had I turned the comments off, it would have just been like it'd been something for people to chew on. Yeah. But there were people getting kicked off of Facebook and like calling me, and they're like, "Shown your post, that person, that other friend of yours they are evil. And I'm like, well, I read everything you said, and that's what got you kicked off of Facebook. So
Yeah, it's not someone else that gets you.
oh,
Fundamental of parenting 101. It's never the other kid's fault when your kid's sitting in the
right,
principal's office.
right.
After 4 kids, yeah, no.
But what happened was it just went broad and wide, my
Yeah,
post. Had I known that, I
absolutely.
wouldn't have done it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
So,
I'm obviously we're in a political environment where people have very passionate opinions,
yeah.
and they're entitled to those opinions. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think we're all adults enough to not be name calling and
So then the other thing is with the driving the traffic. So I know now you're big into bots and all that, and having like DM the word Misty Cortez, and it'll go to your it'll don't DM it, just comment the word Misty Cortez, and that keyword will
yes.
generate a direct message. And
Yeah.
then also you can go to the QR code right now and put in Misty Cortez and get really, you guys, if you're this far into this, get that now. At least get the QR code, get the link, and bookmark it, or take a snapshot of this screen so you know that where to go and what code to use to save over $500. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
It's a huge
Go ahead.
savings.
Okay,
No, yeah.
so
Your
that was
chatbots, though, that's another thing. That's another layer to the social media marketing strategy, right? Is we use a platform called ManyChat. I love it. ManyChat, and you can set up a chat bot, which sounds intimidating, but really it works very similar to Keep. If you're familiar with Keep's campaign builder, it kind of works exactly like that. Only it does it for social. So what happens is, like Sean was saying, is if you share something on social media and let's say you say, hey, if you're interested in knowing more about this, I've got a free resource I created. Comment the word and you give them a keyword, whatever that is, and below, and I'll shoot that over to you. So what happens is ManyChat is basically monitoring your social feed. And
yeah,
when they see comments, it'll come over and it will not only will it respond to the message that was posted, but it will also deliver through Messenger the resource that you promised. And you set that up as a tool that is automated to help you. Because we talked about this, how do you what when it comes to free or affordable uh, uh, marketing strategies, that's both time and money. It's not just money. And
right.
if anything, time, like I said, is the most important, because we can always make more money as long. I always told my kids, you can always make more money as long as you're alive. Once you're dead, then you need life insurance.
Exactly.
After
So,
that,
so back to the no cost marketing without
yeah,
spending the time. So then we have the strategic power partnerships that connect with your existing audience. Those first two have to do with sending emails or picking up the phone.
yes,
And if you go to 100 Coach Marketing Mastery, I have a software up there. It's like $2,000. I think it's $2,000. But if you put the word captivate in there, you get the training for free.
oh nice,
So it's 100.coachmarketingmastery.com. I think, maybe not. Who knows? But that has to do with breaking through your sphere of influence, and it teaches you how to interact with your strategic partners or even the people close to you, and how to build rapport. That's like the most important thing. It's free to build rapport, but don't just go out there and say, hey, I got this new thing going. Like, hi, Kelly. Yes. Hey, I got this new thing coming out. Will you promote me? They're going to be like, well, who is this? Right. So it goes,
yep.
okay. So what's the fourth thing? We got
Well, it's kind of an extension of the last one. You'll notice that a lot of these kind of they interweave
yeah,
together, right?
the next one, or
So then, yeah, exactly. So the next one I would say is create long form content. And what I mean by that is long form content are what we're doing here today, a Facebook Live. Maybe it's a pre-recorded video. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's a YouTube stream, right? So it could even be a blog, although I'm moving away from that. I used to always say definitely blogs were in there, meaning written blogs. The reality is people connect more with content that they can see your face, they can hear your voice better than they do the written word. We know that statistically. So I would encourage you, if you want to write, that's great. So do a Facebook Live, extract the transcript from that Facebook Live, and then rearrange it and organize it into a written blog post. There's nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't just lead with blog posts. I just want to put that out there. But it's an extension of your social media strategy, because this is a thing that I don't think a lot of people realize. When it comes to social media, your goal is to build brand awareness or to hook them into guiding them to the next most logical step. Well, once you hook someone's attention, you want to guide them to a long form content, podcast, blog, video training, YouTube video, whatever, where they can dive deeper into the subject that you introduce them to on the social platform. That allows them to really get to know and understand who you are, what you do, what your point of view is, what you stand for, what your expertise is. And then within the long form content, then you offer them an opportunity to subscribe, whether it be to your newsletter, your community, a free Facebook group, a free resource that you've created, or whatever. So the strategies kind of link together. They're not in silos. Because I think a lot of times a big mistake that people make is they're like, I just want to do one thing and this is all I'm going to do. When actually it's a string of events that kind of get people to down the path you want them to.
Yeah, there's a thing called the triangle of trust, and it's a thing that Frank Kern. So I followed Frank Kern for a long time. I don't know if anybody else did, but he and Ryan Dice were the two main people I followed, like a long time ago. And what was it called? Mass Control. I don't know if you guys remember when he did Mass Control.
I don't remember that.
Well, anyhow, he did this thing, and he's teaching you how to fill a room, but he was doing what he was selling. So once you got to the room, he's going to sell you what he just did. How you got in the room is what he was selling of how to do what he just did. It was kind of a genius thing.
It is genius. Yeah. I call it frictionless lead generation. Yeah. Right. It's meeting your prospects where they're at. So they're scrolling on social media, right? You introduce them with a social post that hooks their attention, that says, ooh, I want to know more about that. You guide them to the next most logical step, which is the long form content. Within the long form content, then you say, hey, if you want to expand on this even more, I've got an amazing resource I threw together for you. You can get it here. So it kind of guides that individual right into your community. And
the way he explained it was, say like you're selling lawnmower blades, but for like those lawnmowers that I guess it's like a little car. But I don't know what you call them, but and so he goes, if you're selling the blade for the lawnmowers, what you would do is you'd make a video saying, hey, did you see the World Series? You see that diamond cut that they had on the lawn? Well, I'm going to show you how to make that diamond cut. So now you're on the little lawnmower.
That's the hook.
And then you go, if you want to know more about it, go over to my website. And I got a little blog there explaining, like this and that. And then once you go there, it goes, oh, and you got to sharpen the blades in order to get the right cut. So go over here to buy the blades.
Yes.
So that's was the whole triangle of trust, right?
And I think we unconsciously, even if we're not conscious of what's happening, we unconsciously know what's happening. All of us have done it if you're on social media, unless you're living under a rock. Yeah. But we've all been led down those paths, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not manipulation. It's literally it's marketing.
Oh yeah. Well, one of and like with sales and marketing, there's this girl that would not go out with me, and I was so pissed off. Hey, you want to go out Friday? And she's like, I don't know, baby. Right. So I was like, and I was in my 30s. I was in my early 30s, but it was just, men just, we don't know how to do this stuff. Right. So
I had someone a couple of weeks ago make a comment on one of my posts, and they're like, oh, you're just trying to manipulate people. And I'm like, let me take a step back here for a minute. All these celebrities that are out there creating, you think those celebrities want to connect with you on a meaningful level out in their social profiles? No, it's all a marketing strategy to get you to buy their crap. And most of their crap isn't even that good.
Right.
But you have no problem sending the Kardashians more money, but your neighbor next door who wants to make a living doing the same thing, actually selling something of value, you're going to question. Get
But it's good because that comment now gives you a connection,
it
a
does.
conversation to point out. And what I ended up doing with this girl was I said, "Hey, do you want to go out? You want to go out to dinner Friday? I can pick you up at either 6 or 7, which works best."
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah,
like a sales
closing.
thing. And she going, "Oh, 7." I went, "Great." And then we went out, but she would never go out with me until I gave her options.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with the long form content is a lot of people think, "Oh, well, that takes so long." So what are some free things that they can use? I know Canva is free. I know that ChatGPT is free. There's other like MailChimp is free,
Yeah.
isn't it? Is it still free?
Here's my philosophy on the freeze. I think it's great that all these tools offer you an opportunity to start for free. I think it's great, but that's not the long game. You're building a business. Like,
Right,
be ready to invest, right? The reason why they offer it for free is to give you a taste of what it's like to use the platform to make sure it's a good fit for you.
right.
So it's, yeah, exactly. It's the Baskin Robbins. Now we're really dating ourselves, Sean. Thanks. Remember back in the day when Baskin Robbins would let you go in and taste
They
31 different flavors if
they
you
still
wanted
do it.
to?
I
Yeah,
go there
exactly.
every week and I eat all 31 flavors. I don't buy anything. I just walk out.
Yeah. But that's exactly it. And so it gives you a taste of it, and then you can decide, is this going to be a good fit for my business long term so that I can grow my business?
Yeah. So with the long form content, one of the things that I do, I have different tools that like there's Otter and everything. But then when you take, let's say we take this video and then we rip it into content and then put it up as a blog, and then and it even makes an email so I can blast it out and say, "Hey, this is our latest thing. It's on our YouTube channel. Go check it out." Um, how does that? One of the things we have two things coming up: creating content to drive traffic
Nice.
is going to be one of our next shows, and then the other one is how the newsletter is making a comeback.
Yes.
So with that and long form content, and I just want to go over this, Clowns. We'll get your opinion real quick. What are the challenges when you rip a video to, like, what do you need to do to make sure that it comes out right and correct?
Yeah, so the tools that we use is, first and foremost, we take the video, we upload it to otter.io, and that pulls the transcript. The transcript, then here's the cool thing, is you can use ChatGPT, give ChatGPT the transcript and say, take this transcript and turn it into an SEO blog that's an X number of words, minimum 1,000, with H1, H2 titles, H3 titles, right? Bullet points, organize the content. Yeah, give them all the prompts, right? To do that. So now you got a written blog. So if people, because there are people who still like to consume written content, that's not, it's not dead. And it helps with an SEO, from an SEO perspective. So now you do that. And then the next thing that we use is, and I always have to think about it. Crap.
So what?
It's veed.io,
Oh yeah.
VEED. I don't know why I have a hard time remembering the name of that, but that's where we slice and dice our videos. We used to use more
So
sophisticated.
what's your middle name?
Mine?
Yeah,
Mary Lynn?
Mary Lynn. So just
Yeah.
remember Veed
Yeah.
with your
With my middle name? That's
yeah.
how I remember it?
I just
Okay.
anchored you, so go ahead.
All right, I like that. Yeah, so veed.io, you pop it in there. And I love Veed because one thing, I am not a video editor. Like, that is not my thing.
Yeah.
But they make it really super simple to break up little snippets out of the video, add bells and whistles. You can do the text overlays and the pop in images and all that fun stuff, music over it. So you edit with that. And then of course, I use Buzzsprout so you extract the audio from the video. You can use that as a podcast too. Now, some people don't feel comfortable in doing live calls as their podcast, but it really, Gary Vee does it with his V and
This
V
is my
friends.
podcast.
Yeah. Like, it really is just a matter of preference, but like, try not to overthink it in the beginning. And if you want to add structure to your podcast later, the key is get your content out there in as many platforms as you can so that you can reach a bigger audience. Because there are some people who just consume podcasts. They don't watch videos, they don't read blogs. So you're missing out on that opportunity if you're not leveraging your content in that way.
The thing with the podcast, a lot of people, I don't know how many people, and there's a podcast room. All of this stuff right
Yeah.
here, I made it for someone else
Oh,
that I love and adore. And they made one podcast. I can say it because we're this deep. She doesn't listen all the way into it. And she did one podcast, set it all up, had the video and had the chair and her and her friend, and they're in here. Oh, great. That was fun. And they leave. I'm like, I just spent hundreds of dollars. Okay. But this is my point. The no cost without spending a dime topic is that you can have a podcast, anchor.fm. You can have a podcast, but the deal is for the listeners, don't start a podcast just because you think it's going to be fun. Right. and I did a podcast, and I had to speak for an hour. I had to build it for an hour. And then, and it was just a lot of work. And I don't do that anymore. Now I just take this and I have a thing that I put my intro, welcome to Sean Snowday Presents, right? It's even my own voice.
Yeah.
Because I am the voice, right? I'm like, tortilla boy in the small, I can do all that stuff.
Well, I think today though, you can start a podcast as a hobby and it can evolve.
Right. But what people do is they make 1 or 4 and then they stop. That's my point.
Yeah.
Just be ready for the long term. So we got 9 more minutes.
I'm on my 3rd rendition of my podcast right now. I
have to rename. I got like 47,000 downloads. So, we're doing okay, I think. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's better than 3 downloads. And but what we got 10 minutes. So we got the strategic partnerships, connect with your audience, social media, long form content. What are a couple others?
Well, I mean, we can't ignore email marketing, right? So email marketing is one of the best ways. So everything that you do in marketing wise is to guide them into becoming part of your community. And what I mean by that is your email list, right? I'm not talking about a free Facebook group community, although that you can build that too. That's another strategy. I'm talking about your email list because you own and control that list. You can take that list with you regardless of the software that you use. Obviously, we've talked about Keep here today, but you can use it in MailChimp. You can use it in Constant Contact. There's so many different, Active Campaign, all of them. But you own and control that list. That is an asset in your business. If you ever wanted to sell your business, someone's going to come in to buy it, they're going to ask you, what assets do you have? That is one of them that they're looking for because they need to know that you've built a community of people who know, like, and trust your organization, your brand. And so email marketing is one of the best ways to ensure that you can reach out to the people who have raised their hand and said, yeah, I want to stay connected with Sean. I want to stay connected with Misty. And so they've given you permission to email them by saying that when they've subscribed to your list. So you got to do email marketing. Is it free? Yes, there's versions of it for free, but eventually, if you're building a business, you're going to have a software that allows you with the CRM to manage that customer relationship. And
the cool stuff about the free stuff though, like seriously, like when I started, I was using what's called Green Rope now. But back it was called Chamber Zoom, and it was a free with your chamber. I was with the San Diego Chamber of Commerce, which is the largest chamber on the West Coast. So that has to do with California, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, and Washington, because I've said that so many times. But the thing is that I dug into it, and then I was like, this is great. And then when I got into Infusionsoft, I understood it. So when you step into these MailChimps and Canvas, it's just getting past the learning curve because a lot of business owners, they don't want to do the marketing. They don't want to sell. Marketing costs you money. Sales makes you money. No one wants to do marketing because there's a learning curve. You stress out. You end up folding your arms like this, putting your head in your arms and just want to cry.
Well, it's the E-Myth, right? The E-Myth's whole premise is it's the myth of the entrepreneur. He uses the example of the pie baker, right?
Yeah.
She loves making pies. And all of a sudden she decides, well, I'm going to take this passion project, this hobby, if you will, and I'm
Right.
going to try to turn it into a business, and I'm going to become an entrepreneur. Well, there's more roles in entrepreneurship and building a business than just making the pies.
Yeah.
You've got to market the business. You've got to sell the business. You've got to manage the people and the
Right.
teams, if that's what
So
you're
that's
looking to
the
do.
whole, and these tools help, like the free tools I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
do you remember who and why she fired her first employee?
Oh,
It's a little trivia question.
I
So
don't.
she had a bookkeeper, and then she goes, "Well, I have a bookkeeper, and I need someone to put the pies in boxes." So she had the bookkeeper did that, and she goes, "You're not doing it right," and she fired her.
Yeah, another lesson. There's so many lessons. That's a book that I think will never. It's kind of like thinking. Well, I don't know if I'd rank it right up with Think and Grow Rich, but it's
Yeah.
definitely up there in the top.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one that everyone should read.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have creating content to drive traffic and email marketing. You know why? Well, I forgot the topic, but it's going to be something. Why the
Newsletter.
why the newsletter is making a comeback. It'll have something to do with that. But what are some other things? Because email marketing, we got to kind of well, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
So we'll be going into creating content to drive traffic and why the newsletter is making a comeback, how and why and what to do. But right now, we can find you at mistycortez.com. But tell us a little bit about the summit coming up,
Yes.
and how to use the QR code. And
Yeah, so let's go. I'm pulling up my notes on this, right? So there's going to be a bunch of really amazing speakers. If you're a fan of Jenna Kutcher, she's going to be there speaking. Michael Hyatt. Who else would you guys know? Shoot, Robert Herjavec. Who's the Robert? What's his last name? From
Shark Tank.
Yes.
Oh my God, he's going to be there.
Yeah, he's going to be there. He's going to be one of the speakers. So
I like him.
You're going to hear from Clayton Mask, who's always phenomenal. Obviously, you know, one of the co-founders of Keep. You know, and they've got 3 tracks that they're running. They're running one on strategy and leadership. So even though this is a SaaS company, software as a service company, for those who are like, what? Why do you guys keep throwing around these acronyms? So for a company like that, they're not just focusing on their software. They're focusing on strategy and leadership. That's track number 1. Track number 2 is sales and marketing, of course. And then track number 3 is service and operations. So if you need help in any one of those 3 areas, they've got phenomenal speakers that are going to be sharing their strategies that are working for them. And right now, general admission, if you go to the QR code that Sean created, thank you. If you go there, you're going to see that the tickets are selling right now for $6.99 because the event is next month towards I think it's the 3rd week of the month. General admission is $6.99, but with that QR code, if you put my name as the coupon code, you can get it for $149. You get access to the keynote and all the sessions. You get event recordings as well. You get swag. You get a welcome reception on November 20th, a great way to network. And then you also get breakfast and lunch. I mean, they're losing money. I don't even know why they're doing this, to be honest. Yeah. They're losing money. I know they're losing money. So I think they want butts and seats. It's going to be a phenomenal event.
Yeah, so. And it's all about butts and seats, but it's also about the community, and it's about the long-term relationships that they develop with the local community and the remote community. And again, I mean, I had an event one time. We got to wrap it up. But my partner had an event and he made it sound all like a big deal, which it wasn't. These guys drove from San Diego to Arizona and we had like 11 people and we had free breakfast burritos. And I was like, David, why did you, I shouldn't have said his name, but why did you make it sound like it was a big, huge event? This is a big, huge event. This is worth it. This is worth driving from California to Las Vegas because it's only a 6-hour drive and you're going to be with the smartest minds and you're going to make the best connections and we're going to have the best speakers.
Yeah, they're going to have amazing speakers. And this community is really, I think it's special and unique. If you've ever been to Digital Marketers Community, they're a great group of people too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's something about the Keep community. They're just down to earth, you know, small entrepreneurs and small business owners. And they're not a bunch of tech heads, really.
Right.
I mean, are there techie people there if you want to go down that path? Yes, but really, it's just, you know, they cover all the different tracks. So
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay. So we'll see you next week.
awesome.
Will we see you next week, Misty?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to make the thing for that. I'm going to put that all up. Go to the QR code. I'm going to promote the QR code. I don't know if I can make one for myself, but I'm not worried about it. We'll put that out in our social. And I got a call coming up right now. So we'll see you guys
Awesome.
next week.